Alright, so I have all day to think about this timing here. So Begley's, they're starting a party on the 31st, which is today. Today is like the, well, it's like travel day. Everybody's packing up, getting their stuff to traveling down. Because it's going to be a long, look, it's going to be a party. They are going to party for 3.5 days. They are going to exchange gifts to one another. And that's not the end. Nope. And after 3.5 days, guess what's going to happen? Well, it's going to be the 4th of June. That's all. And everything's going to continue on. You know, everybody who is still falsely prophesying will continue to falsely prophesy. You got to remember, you have, when the truth is, see, first the Wooders are asswatched. They're less intensified, and then for the next 10 days, they're it's like you're being tested, you're being tempted, and especially the ones that kind of know what's going on. You're going to be, well, tempted to go to that party that's down there in Michigan. And so once you understand that there's a 10 days here, then until the Wooders are, until your mouth is shut up for good. I mean, well, temporarily for good. Once you understand that, then here we are. Here's today. Today is the 31st. Today into midnight, well, it should be where the Wooders are completely dried up. This is a time where once the group of Rons get there, they can pull the pipe. They can pull the pipes of the people who are talking. You know, the windpipe. Now, so when we eat no pleasant bread for 3 whole weeks, you start eating no pleasant bread as soon as the truth is shut down. But then they're also supposed to party for 3.5 days. So it's like, which one is it? When we get shut down, unless if it's prolonged for another 21 days, you know? But when you're shut down and there's no more pleasant bread on YouTube, who's truly going to know that? Like a regular average people, they have no clue that they're going to be listening to nothing but liars. People like us who've been up, once our channels are off, well, then we're going to understand that obviously everybody's lying that's left. And they get their 21 days of just complete, they're in their glory. Now, see, the rapture doesn't happen before these 3 weeks either. Or it happens at the end of the 3 weeks. It happens at the end of the 3-week period. Because all the false prophets on YouTube, they're going to continue to lie. Now, whether on May 21st, 2019, whether that was the beginning of plucking up channels like mine, and then this is the last day until it's completely dried up, or it's starting today and then it's literally prolonged for another 21 days. I'm just saying. Not sure. But when they start partying, it's like this. Again, it's this whole line of deception. All right, who knows that they're going to party starting today for 3 days and a half? You know what I mean? Who really knows that? And then now, okay, I hear like, oh, I see. So they're going to party. So here we go. Here we go with the exchanging gifts to one another, right? Not so fast. Not so fast, because this is the way that this is the way that deception layer works. Is all right for those that are onto us, because first there's again the layer of people that don't have no clue, and then the people that kind of have a clue, and then the ones that have an absolute clue, and they hear that like, ah, here we go, here comes that 3.5 day party, because the waters have been abated, less intensified, and then dried up 10 days later. It's a 10-day tribulation period. Daniel and his buddies were given 10 days to eat pulse, and then after the 10 days, their portion was taken away. They took away the meat. The meat. What we're saying is good. Belzar, Shalzar, I don't know, whoever's in charge, the master of eunuchs, takes away the portion of our meat, because for 10 days we're asking to be like, please try us for 10 days and look at the continents of our face as we're going through it. And after 10 days, they took away the portion of the meat. Once you take away the portion of the meat, guess what? You're not eating any pleasant thing for 3 whole weeks. Now, but again, the layer can be, I know how Steve thinks, you know, he's pretty clever. He will tell Paul Begley, you know, to show the party, and be like, and then get people like Robin to think that it's a 3.5 day party from that point right there. You know when the party truly begins? At the end of the 3 whole weeks. I know it's kind of confusing, but it's the way it is. That 3.5 day period is 2 separate 3.5 days that the Bible's talking about, and I've always said this. That is a 7-day period. I'm telling you. It's 3.5 days a party, and then after 3.5 days, it's a 7-day period. But now I'm telling you that not only is it 2 separate 3.5 day periods, but it's completely separated from the first 3.5 days of the beginning, and then the last 3.5 days after a stretch of a period of time of 21 days. It's in between. 3.5 days are on the outside, 21 days are in the middle. So when you have the party after 3.5 days, they want me to believe that. Now, are we getting shut down still? Yeah, that's in all likelihood today's the last day. But the true 3.5 day period, the party, there's a couple different ones, because the first one is going down to Michigan and celebrating the fact that we've been silenced and shut up. And then, because here's the thing, after 3.5 days, when that passes by and June 4th comes around, or 3rd, whatever, and we're still shut down and nothing happened, and it's like, you know, I thought of this too. I'm like, maybe I should keep this to myself. Maybe this is what they don't need to know. But, not you guys, but them. But then it's like, no, I know what to keep. I know the one thing that I need to just keep to myself. And it doesn't hurt anybody. The one thing that I will keep to myself out loud doesn't hurt anybody. However, I'm not gonna seal up the words of this prophecy, because once the 3.5 days is done and we are shut down, and King you know, king over there, just put his hat on, singing karaoke to all of his groupies, and then after 3.5 days happens, and he's still king, and nobody did anything, and on top of that, for 3 whole weeks, it's like, it is vacation time for Steve. You know why it's vacation time? Because he doesn't have to keep tabs on me anymore, and anybody else that's out there telling the truth. So you have this combination of the 3.5 days after we are shut down, and then the breath of life is supposed to come back into God's people, right? But nothing happens. So here comes the, see, this is why I have to say, because there would be disappointment if you're looking at it. It does happen. We do get shut down. Look, you know that when I'm shut down, I'm shut down. If I'm not, I'm going to continue every single day, no matter if I freaking want to or not. It's just, it's impossible to stop, because I understand how important it is to speak about these things that are happening. So when we get shut down, and then you're expecting to get turned back on 3.5 days later, here comes the disappointment, and it's like, oh man, damn. Shit. I guess Robin was wrong, you know? I mean, we got shut down. Yeah, everything he said before that was dead on just about, but oh man, he must be wrong about this one. Now, just be patient, because, you know, what else you got to do? Just, it ain't like they're not going to give us something to do, like looking up in the sky and seeing all kinds of stuff and watching. It's going to get exponentially exciting when we eat no pleasant bread for 3 whole weeks. Just, I'm telling you right now, okay, you are going to see it just rampant, rapid fire, catastrophe after catastrophe, mega quakes at, oh my god, just explosions everywhere, meteorites coming, aliens all over the place abducting people, and then the rapture happens, because when the rapture happens, sudden destruction happens. Sudden destruction happens for when they say peace and safety, and they're going to say peace and safety on June 25th into the 26th. Okay, and I'm going to get to that timeline and the 3.5 days after that, and then the 3.5 days before that, where it all lines up. Well, it all lines up June 21st, 22nd. It all lines up after 3 full weeks. So you got the 3.5 days, you got the party, but the true party is not, you know, the true 3.5 days, and again, there's a strong likelihood that it's going to be prolonged even another 3.5 days from the point that I can't go any further with my understanding, because I've been through this plenty of times already. According to my understanding, I get to a timeline, and then that's it, and then we get to that timeline, and that's not it, and it's a continuance. But a lot of things happen between the timeline. It's just God loves to prolong things a little bit longer, just to test you. And so the true party is after we eat no pleasant bread for 3 whole weeks. So let's say the waters are completely dried up today, at the end of today, because it's all of today, and then June 1st, the very morning, midnight morning, all of June 1st, all of June 21st. That's 21 full days, right? Isn't that 3 whole weeks? Then our dead bodies, because our dead bodies lied in the street, after 3.5 days, well, 3.5 days from the 22nd, all of the 22nd, all of the 23rd, all of the 24th, and then into the 25th evening. So the 25th evening is 3.5 days after 3 whole weeks after the 21-day period, where we had to withstand the kings of Persia. We have to stomach what we're going to see for 3 whole weeks. Now, after 3 whole weeks, come June 21st, the summer threshing floor, when we are still silenced, because that is their real party. This one that Paul Begley's saying, it's bait, all right? I get it, but it's bait. He's throwing the hook out there. He's trying to reel you in for those that understand the 3.5 days of party and that they are mouthpieces for the elite. Look, the EMP is getting shut down, all right? Both EMPs. Our electrical magnetic pulse and the elite's mouthpieces are getting shut down. Now, after 3 whole weeks is up and there's no pleasant bread, no truth, no pleasant gospel being preached, and then we don't rise back up after 3 whole weeks, come June 21st and the 22nd, and then so 3.5 days comes along for when they say peace and safety, June 25th, 6 p.m., sudden destruction happens. 6 p.m. here. That's why Paul said 25th, 26th, because it's June 25th here at 6 p.m., and it's June 25th here, 6 p.m., June 26th over in Israel, 1 o'clock in the morning. 12:59 a.m., whatever. You got a party time after the 3 whole weeks, 3.5 days after. It's party time. Because here comes sudden destruction for when they say peace and safety. Here comes the rapture, because the false prophets will continue to be on YouTube. You know, like Paul Begley and Steve Fletcher, Rapture King, he still has to be up, and because they have to all disappear in the rapture. You see what I'm saying? We have to look, they need at least 3 weeks. They've been given at least 3 weeks to teach all the lies that Steve has written out for all of his employees and not have us interfere. That way he can mainly focus on what they are doing, okay? Because we have put them through a tremendous amount of work, more than they bargained for, more than they expected. So when we're shut down, there's no more, and I say we, us, all of us, because there's no more comments to look through. There's no more time. You don't have to sit through my videos to watch them anymore. You've already watched everyone. And so you have their time to shine. And they shine all the way up until the rapture happens and sudden destruction. Now, the timing of the rapture being on June 25th evening, all right, when sudden destruction happens, well then they start their party when the rapture happens. It's a rapture party, okay? It's a rapture party starting June 25th evening. You know, that's when I believe we'll see and hear about mainly the alien abduction. At the same time, the rapture and the alien abduction go hand in hand, because you got to get the believers that believe in the rapture, you got to get the alien believers, you got to get them to believe separate things, and then you have us understanding it, you know, whatever. Now, oh man, this is so great. It's so great. 3.5 days after June 25th at evening. You got June 26th evening, June 27th evening, June 28th evening. And then well, then you have another 6 more hours is June 29th. Now, if you start the party at June 25th in the morning, or even if you start the party June, the party's June 25th, okay? So it depends on when do they party with the fake party. Is it starting today, the full day of the 31st? Does it start evening in the 31st of today? Does it start midnight the 31st into the 1st of June? So that kind of determines when the party really begins. So if you start the party on June 25th at if you started at noon, or you could start it in the morning, you can start at noon, or you can start it in the evening, or you can even start at midnight, depending on which time zone you're in. So there's a window, but the day is set in stone, in my opinion. It's set in stone in my heart. So let's say you start the party at noon on the 25th, because there's at noon time, there's going to be, when it's really midnight and when the sky finally opens up from the darkness after all this, at midnight, when it opens up at midnight, it's really noon. All right, so if the party starts on noon our time on June 25th, and then the rapture happens evening over in Jerusalem, all right, whatever. So if it starts at noon on June 25th, then after 3.5 days of that party, when that party begins, so on June 25th at noon, you have June 26th at noon, June 27th at noon, and June 28th at noon. Then you have almost a half of more of a day. I mean, literally 11 hours and 30 minutes later, that's when I get to celebrate my party. See, my party begins not June 28th in the morning, not in noon, not even at evening, not even at midnight. My party starts a half hour, because I'm going to give a moment of silence. I'm going to give a half-hour moment of silence. You know, just bow down to the bow down, bow your head down, and give remembrance to the fallen prophets. Okay, and so you got a half-hour silence in heaven. It's about the seventh angel begins to sound. It's like when you have a half-hour silence, then it's time to party. So June 29th at midnight. June 29th at midnight. It's going to be midnight, right? I mean, when the sun is really at high noon, like our original sun that's up there, when it's at high noon, but they're telling us that it's June 28th, you know, like 11:30 p.m. and then going a half hour later, that little silencing period, and then it's 12 midnight, but then the sun shines, you know, because remember, there's a part where Daniel prays. He's praying for his people, and he's praying for God to shine his face upon the land of the desolate. that sun is going to shine. There's 3.5 days of darkness. The 3.5 days of darkness is the 3.5 days that they're partying. All right, there's two parts of the darkness, and I said this before. The sun will go down spiritually, and the sun will go down literally. The sun of God will go down. The word of God will go down. The pleasant bread will go down. The portion of the Daniel and their meat was taken away after 10 days. And here we are, we're at the 10 days. And they eat no pleasant bread for 3 whole weeks. So, there's the party at the beginning when we are silenced. That's the first going down of the sun. And then there's a party when it's, for when they say peace and safety and sudden destruction. And then 3 days of darkness, that when the sun literally goes, drops, and disappears. Because all these things are going to happen, and then bam, boom, here comes the darkness, literally. And then, you know, our second binary sun, it's going to, Steve already said it's going to shine for 3 days. I mean, the other one's going to explode. Or I forget what he said. But there's separate times here. And I'm 42 years old right now, and I'll be 42 full years old June 28th at 11:30 exactly p.m. Then I get to celebrate going into my 43rd year, and I should expect I'm going to expect a great birthday present. Now, again, things can be prolonged for a few days, just the way it is. And even though it's 2 21-day periods from May 21st, 2019 to June 11th. And then, but then when you take all the 11th, and then when you start on the 12th and you add another 21 days, it comes to July 3rd. And then all of the 3rd goes into July 4th. And once it goes into July 4th, well, that's 42 full days from May 21st, when the flood began on your TV screen. 42 full days going into July 4th. And July 4th, of course, is the rebirth of America. Because the Illuminati's birthday already happened May 1st of this year, the 243rd year of the Illuminati, right? That's their last birthday. And then, you know, July 4th, 1776, isn't that when everything was, so isn't that when America was born, supposedly? Well, here's the rebirth, July 4th. And so it's within a 7-day period after my birthday. 7-day periods, like in that July point, that July 1st area, when I thought that, I thought June 1st, tomorrow, I'd be in Miami. But again, I tend to be a little bit early on my predictions, because I'm supposed to be earlier so I can experience the feeling of going through it. So I expect it, I'm ready, I'm bracing for it, and it doesn't happen. It's like, all right, okay, this is still extra, just all bonus time. It's house money, YouTube house money. But, you know, the waters have been asswashed, and they're going to be dried up, and the portion of our, we're going to eat pulse, and after 10 days, the meat will be taken away, and we have, we just have to kind of withstand all the lies for the next 21 full days. And there's separations of the party. The beginning of the party and the end of the party. There's 3.5 days here, and then there's 3.5 days there. Which one, where does it start, where does it end? I'll make sure I get all this out here, but I'm going to get this 21-day understanding out, and the 3.5 day party, because I thought it's like, if they know, how can they possibly party when they're being told when they're going to party? And it's like, you know what? Evil is evil. Evil, they can be told straight to their face what God's going to do. And they're not going to stop. I could tell you guys straight to your face when you guys are going to party, when it's going to start, when you guys are going to do everything. You're not going to stop partying. You're still going to follow through with it. Because I believe you guys understand the end result anyway. The end result is you're seeing it right now in front of your face. So, you have this time of partying. Well, yeah, of course you will, because who are we? You know what I mean? We're just behind the, we're in front of the camera. You guys are behind the camera. You guys are shutting us off the front of the camera. You are still behind the camera. You can see what's going on. You guys are going to party because it's a relief. It's like a vacation. It's like 21 days of vacation. Like, thank God. And then, so yeah, it still calls for celebration, right? You guys shut us up off YouTube. You don't have to track us anymore on YouTube. I mean, in real life, yeah, we're still being surveilled constantly. And then you still have your three week of feeding us nothing but, you know, lies and unpleasant bread. You know, you're going to be feeding us unpleasant bread. So, and then after that is when you have your true party. This is the true party. This is when that happens from that point on, and then the rapture happens, and all these things happen, they all take place, and lo, they will. Well, then, after those 3.5 days, it's my turn to party, all right? It's literally my turn to party, and I am going to give a moment of silence for a half hour. It's going to be on June 28th at 11:30 p.m. I'm giving a half hour silence. I'm going to stay quiet. I'm going to just go in my quiet place. I'm not going to talk. And I'm going to give a half hour of silence. And then I'm going to party. Because my party, my birthday, truly starts June 28th at 11:30 p.m. But, however, I'm going to wait 1/2 hour until the 29th. After 3.5 days, okay? Because I got to wait a half hour. I got a half hour to wait. Oh, by the way, Paul denied me 3 times. Oh, man, that's so funny. Because he sees who I am. He just denied me, you know. He said I needed to be saved. I mean, come on, Robbins, bless you. Oh, he was saved last night. Nah, man, I was saved a long-ass time ago. All right there, Peter. So, go pick that pipe and pull those pipes, Steve, okay? Because we are silenced.